happening, y'all? Corner Store Podcast, episode 121 is live. Appreciate y'all being here. This is a special episode of the Corner Store Podcast, which is normally broadcast live on Wednesdays from now on. But I had to do a special Tuesday episode that involves Sean Puffy Combs. Diddy has been indicted on racketeering and human trafficking charges. He was indicted last night. I believe he was at a hotel in New York City where federal agents, not regular law enforcement, not New York NYPD, federal charges have been brought against Sean Puffy Combs for racketeering, y'all. Racketeering and child trafficking. Child trafficking or sex trafficking, human trafficking. I'm sorry. Let me get that right. It's human trafficking, which I believe is just as bad. Obviously, if you're trafficking children or you're in the business of trafficking anyone, lest it be a child, that's the most heinous thing you could do. Absolutely incredibly terrible. And if allegations are true, he should be and will be prosecuted to the full extent of the law. This is not good news for me. It shouldn't be good news for any person that is of African-American descent or a black person in this country. Because to be honest with you, all of us don't know where the hell we actually from when it comes to, our heritage and so on. With that said, the sad thing to me about this whole situation is how the great have fallen. And what I mean by that is a lot of our, people who have become, moguls, a lot of our black people have become moguls and entrepreneurs and people of substance in regards to money and power in this country are falling all over the place, falling from grace. I don't believe we're using our platforms correctly as millionaires and billionaires and leaders of industry in this country. From what I can tell in regards to Puffy, and another note, another prominent star is also being investigated. A lot of people don't know about this because they swept this under the rug. Drake is being investigated for possible similar charges. Everybody had, if you haven't been watching the internet or listening to other podcasters in regards to Drake is another entertainer, mogul, but he's obviously from Canada and not the United States, who's also had similar run-ins with kids and having sex with young teenage girls. And this is all alleged, and these are all allegations. But seeing that Diddy's been indicted on these charges, whether confounded, meaning if they're true or not, he's been arrested and he's been held for a lot of money. Obviously, he can make bail. We all know that. He has several assets to use to make bail if need be, if not cash in hand. But the simple fact that now he's got to get a flu, and I mean a team of lawyers to build a defense is crumbling. I don't care who you are. You have to obviously be very, very wealthy to pay these lawyers to defend you against these allegations. Epstein, who horribly died and was killed in prison under very, very suspicious circumstances, I might add, had billions of dollars, and he had a great defense team. Him and his cohort, the lady, I can't call her name at the moment, who was one of the helpers that would get the young girls to Epstein's Island, was also indicted and summarily jailed as well. So, and he's Caucasian. So if they want you in jail, especially if they have proof that you've done these things, you're going to jail. Your money is not going to save you. It's not going to save you. And from what I can tell by watching Diddy's life from front of the camera as well as behind the scenes, because there's a lot of video on Diddy as he rose into power as a music mogul and a player in the business. There's a lot of video of how he conducted himself, or himself, I should say, outside of the prying eyes of out of the prying eyes of the people. So a lot of times, man, I'm gonna tell you right now, Diddy, bro, you going to prison, man, from what I can tell. Do I wish that on you? No. I don't wish no brother go to jail. It seems to me when you aspire to the heights that he has aspired to, you would think that you'd be impervious from jail. That'd be the least thing you'd be thinking of. You'd be thinking of your next business conquest. You'd be thinking of your next successful business venture, or your next business real estate purchase. You'd be thinking of things like that. But instead, bro is facing sex charges, racketeering charges. There's a whole slew of people. And they got video on you beating your girlfriend in a hotel room, dragging her down a hallway like you're Scarface or something. You didn't think this was going to happen, bro? You can't be doing this stuff, man. I don't care how much money you got. Here recently, Dame Dash, the former CEO of Rockefeller Records and partner to Jay-Z himself, was doing a video where some dental prosthetic flew out of his mouth. And everybody's making fun of him. Oh, he's broke, he's broke. To be honest with you, Dame having whatever money he has to live on actually should be counting his blessings. He's still not a major player when it comes to business, especially in the music business. You actually, bro, that's actually a blessing for you, because all your inhibitions or whatever you might have skeletons in the closet may be unturned. Having money, just like Biggie said, I'm going to quote an artist that was with Bad Boy Records: more money, more problems. Unless, and I'll say this, unless, I'll put an asterisk by that statement. That is a true statement that Big made by making that song. But you got to understand something. It's not the money. Money is inanimate, meaning that it can't kill you. A dollar bill cannot jump up and choke you to fucking death. It can't. It's the people and how they use the so-called money. And remember, money ain't nothing but on a piece of paper. The ink on it ain't even worth the value. I'm telling you, money is inanimate. It ain't nothing. It says on the fucking note itself. It says on the note itself, this is used as a means of commerce, exchanging of goods. So it ain't even money. It says $20 on there, but it represents $20. It ain't really $20. That's fucking sad to me, that people would take that. They have 20 million or 200 million or 1 billion in the bank and think you're so above the law that you can just do whatever the fuck you want. Do whatever you fuck to people. Men are, in Diddy's case, men have said he tried them as well as women. So all money did for him was feed his ego and feed his dark inhibitions and his darkness. All bro did was, it's hard for me to talk about this because I ain't never been a millionaire. Hell, I've had more strife in my life than you could ever believe. But the fact that I'm, doing what I'm doing and have what I have is a blessing. But if I ever get to a point, well, I'm 58 now as of this month, thank God. Thank you for letting me still be here, God. The funny thing to me is, even if I were to come up on all that money, my pleasures and what I need and what I would like to achieve is so minuscule. It's not that I'm not trying to have, the world or anything like that. It's like when you're a small cog in this thing we call the universe and society and all that, there's only so much you really need, man. When I look at a guy that's got over 100 million or $1 billion, You don't need that much money, bro, to live. Now I know things is tough and things are high. Let me tell you something. If you got $10 million, you shouldn't never, especially at this age. If I'm 50, 58 years old and I was to come up on 10 million, obviously I'd be taxed hard in the mother. But I'd also reach a higher tax bracket, which is going to give me the benefit of tax write-offs and all kind of shit. As long as you get the right people to, dot the I's and cross the T's for you, you can be okay. But I'll say this: there's no need for you to want or need anything else. You got it. All you gotta do is you could do the most simple investment and put that in a high yield savings account, and you have money every month, as long as you're only going crazy spending it all over the place. If you're investing it and purchasing assets versus liabilities, you're gonna always have money. So it ain't like a billion trillion quadrillionaire needs all that money. You're just one person. Nobody has a big enough family that warrants them to have a billion trillion quadrillion dollars. I don't want to hear that shit. That's a bunch of bullshit. I had some people on the live. I think a lot of times when people come on my live and they hear me talking about Diddy or they hear me talking about anything negative, I don't have no guests on today. Probably won't have a guest for maybe a couple of more shows because people have pressing time and things of that nature. But what I talk about because that's what I'm on. Let's just keep it 100. What's happening, Miss Ingersoll? How you doing, beautiful? Appreciate you being here. I just got a shout out from one of the Corner Store podcasts. I ain't gonna call nobody a fan. Supporters who support my channel and support my show. I appreciate and love her. She happens to be my significant other, my boo, as you put it. A lot of these young kids put it. That's my girl, and I appreciate her. She's always there for me. I haven't seen a couple of people that are friends to the show, Light Slim from New York. I haven't seen her in a while, and it would be great to have her back on as far as making comments and asking questions about the subject matter we're talking about. But to have anybody show up on the live is a blessing. It really is. Most of the time, people are peeking their heads in and just trying to see what we own. I'm definitely on one today because my show is normally done now on Wednesdays, but I have to admit all of the stuff that's going on right now from the passing of James Earl Jones. James Earl Jones passed. That's my guy. I think James was 93 years old, and everybody knows how incredibly talented he is and was. God rest your soul. Godspeed to you. James Earl Jones passed away, 93 years old. That's saddened me. But then to hear about a dude who's alive, Diddy's been doing a lot of dirt to people, from the groups he had, Danity Kane, to that group he had, the little rap group or whatever, that show, the band or whatever he was calling, which I thought was a terrible fucking name. You can kind of see that the stuff he was doing with them, he wasn't really trying to make them famous or make them, sell anything. I believe that's what I believe, because I think he went all about that wrong, the way he treated them. I believe he in a lot of ways, and some people are probably going to be beside themselves when I say this, in a lot of ways, I think Diddy is like Trump. And I'll tell you what I mean by that. Trump had a bullshit show on NBC where he would have, you're fired, and do all that. I forget the name of it. The boss or some kind of boss or some bullshit. I think Diddy followed that script when he had the show on MTV. He didn't really want to make Danity Kane, the girl group he had, or that band, making the band that, I forget what they call, with the rappers and the little singer girl and all that. You, me, and everybody else knows what is a hit artist. We know what a hit artist is. We know how it looks. We know how the video is supposed to look. We know all of that. He didn't look like he was trying to really do nothing for them other than have a TV show every week, an episodic show about him supposedly building these groups. If he had done that correctly and actually was trying to make them relevant in the music industry, I think it would have been more serious. He would have treated them better. And that's the reason why Dave Chappelle, when he had the Chappelle show, made a parody about it. because Dave is thinking the same thing that I'm thinking, and maybe you were thinking. This show is bullshit. So he made a joke about it. There was an episode on the Dave Chappelle show about the band where Diddy was like, "I'm gonna close the studio, and if y'all not gonna even be able to be in the studio unless y'all walk across town and give me a sugar cookie." That actually happened on the show where he made them walk from, I think they were in Brooklyn or some shit, to like 2-3 boroughs over to go get him some cheesecake or something. Them motherfuckers was pissed off. I would have been too. What are you doing this for? Why are you trying to make us prove that we want to be here? We wouldn't be here if we didn't think we wanted to be here, dumbass. A lot of people should have walked off that show, but see, Diddy is an evil cat. He knew that them people needed money, and when they came to the money where they signed the contracts, he gave them damn near nothing. And remember, Diddy is just like any other record label. He's going to give you that money, but you got to recoup that money. Meaning he's investing in you, and all the time, everything that you're going to get later on, he's going to take. You would think if you're a brother and you know how the record business works, that you wouldn't do it like they do it. You would do it in a way to where the artists actually come up. Diddy ain't been doing that. He had niggas like Mace, Big, Black Rob, Case, who else? All type of artists, and total 112, all of them have said negative things about him because the man don't want to pay. Why do black people follow the script of the whites that they're trying to adhere to be? The guy, Clive Davis, who was the head CEO of Arista Records, who Diddy claims is like his mentor, he mentored you to fuck people over, bro? That what you telling me? Because you guys followed these record labels script down to the letter, man. Karma's a bitch, bro. That's why it's coming to get you. Karma is a bitch. It's glitching right now. Let me see if I can. My little video was glitching for a second. Karma is a bitch, bro. And that's the reason why it's coming back to get you. You can't fuck people over in this life and think you're going to get away clean. You just not. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. There will be there's a movie I was watching. I forget the name of it, but in the movie there's a line is there will always be a reckoning. There will always be a reckoning. And if you was on the live and you heard me talking, you like, oh, he talking that bull. You know why you doing that? Because you can see that you've done some people fucked up in your life. You know you have. And the reason why you turned off this live and you turned off this podcast is because you see yourself in my words. Don't be scared. You need to heed what this cat is. I've had my fucking time. I've had karma come back and fuck me. Pause. I've had karma come back. You are not going to escape the karma that you build in this world. And that karma is a real thing. If you do negative things, even the Bible speaks of karma, but not in the sense of the word I'm speaking. The Bible says you put out negative, that's what you're going to get back. If you speak with a forked tongue, just like the Indian said, that's what you're going to get back. She said, you're absolutely right about that. Thank you, Sonia, because it's the truth. Karma is a real thing. Speaking of religion, and I'm not a huge fan of religion. I'm a spiritual person. All around the world, people who didn't even know of each other, from the people in India, Pakistan, Asian countries, everybody believed in something higher than themselves, meaning some kind of deity, not deities that were created by the Egyptians, like Set and all these different. I'm talking about everybody knew there was a one true being that created everything and all that. And all of them have similar sayings about doing fucked up shit to people. If you do dirt, you're gonna get dirty. It's just that simple. If you try to put goodness out there, or try to do good by people, majority of the time you're gonna get that shit back. Majority of the time, yeah, there are people out there that see people doing great things and they hate that shit and they want to stop those people from doing good for others. That's true. There is people out there like that. Why in the world are they out there? I don't know, but that's facts. There's motherfuckers out there who will do dirty shit to you, knowing that you're a good person, just on the fact that you do good. But let me tell you, if you fucking over people, if you're taking giant shits on motherfuckers at every turn, guess what? That's coming back. It may not happen that day. It may not happen 3 weeks after. It may not happen 6 months after. But I'm telling you, a reckoning is coming. And that day was yesterday for Sean P. Diddy Combs. Is he going to get out on bail? Yeah. Is he going to come to the court appearance as sharp as a tack with the suits on and a slew of lawyers? Yeah. But that ain't going to save bro. I don't want him to go to prison. I don't even know the nigga. I met. Now, this is true. In my lifetime of trying to do things and trying to, get into not only this business, but just make a mark, period, to make some kind of money. Years ago, I worked for a recording studio, and I ended up going with a wide receiver that I'm a wide receiver from the NFL who invested in said company. Went to the Soul Train Lady of Soul after party at Paradise 24 back in the day. Paradise 24 was a big club, and it was being thrown by Bad Boy Entertainment itself. I will never forget this because I actually got to meet some of my favorite TV show artists, black stars, basketball players like Jim Jackson, Reggie Miller. It was a slew of who's who at this party. And also because of the wide receiver that I was with, like I said, I can't tell you who that is because fuck it, I'll say it. I was with Sean Dawkins. He used to be a wide receiver for the University of California, Cal, and he played for the Seattle Seahawks, Indianapolis Colts, and so on. Well, he was with me, or I was told by the people I was working for to take him somewhere that evening, and that's what was going on that night. Somebody mentioned it at the studio. Yo, that's going on tonight. Take him there. They gave me a few dollars, and so I took him there. So we get there, and there's like a VIP area upstairs, and it was like the regular floor. And on the regular floor was a slew of stars and regular people, obviously, partying and whatnot. But there was like a lot of NBA players down there, all that. And there was a VIP area being guarded by these bodyguards. Well, I looked up, and it's like glass. And you could sit right by the glass and look down on everything. I look up, and I see none other than Tachina Arnold of Martin, Pam. Everybody knows her as Pam on the show. I'm a huge fan. I always thought she was beautiful, the whole nine. And I said, yo, I pointed to Sean. I said, we need to be up there. And I asked him, he said, well, how are we going to get up there? We ain't got no VIP things. I was like, dude, you're Sean Dawkins. He didn't even see a lot of these cats that's in the NFL, or they might not even think they have enough power to just ask to get up there. I couldn't believe. I'm like, bro, you Sean Dawkins. You should just walk up to him and say, I'm Sean Dawkins. Let me up this motherfucker. But he didn't want to do that, or he didn't think he could do that, I should say. So I told him, I said, look, you got ID on you? He gave me his NFL PA player's card. It's like that he's in the union. He had like all these cards identifying that he was an NFL personnel or player. And I went up there and I gave them a story. This shows you how fucking tight I am. I gave these bouncers a story that Diddy invited him. This is on my mama. I swear I put this on everybody who passed away. And I put this on my mama, who's not passed away, by the way. And I don't want nothing to happen to her. But I put this on my mom that this story is true. And I talked our way upstairs. They gave us lanyards, put them around our neck, and we got upstairs. None other than Big was up there. Busta Rhymes, Gerald Levert from the group Levert and his people. The first person I went to right away was Tachina. I went over there and said, hey, how you doing? And talked to her. We sat and talked for a good minute. And it started to get crowded up there. Sean Dawkins was doing his thing. There was a girl that used to dance on Soul Train. Everybody used to love her. Real thick hair, light skin, was bad. Guess who Sean Dawkins ended up going home with that night? He told me, yeah, man, I'm good, man. You can go ahead. He went home with her. And I took the car and I left. But I hung out up there in VIP. Diddy came, everything. I got to see him in his element on my mama. I got to see bro in his element. I saw him move. I saw how they kicked it. It wasn't a Diddy party. All the stuff you ended up, it wasn't like we ended up at the man. I'm sure there was an after party of some sort. I didn't go. Once everything was shut down, I was out of there. Because I was just some regular nigga that just happened to get up there to the VIP. This is the one and only time I've ever been to a fucking event like that where everybody that's in the know at the time was there. And I didn't, and remember, this is a time when we ain't had nothing but Polaroid cameras and all that bullshit. There wasn't no cells or nothing that was doing anything popping at that time. I swear for God, it wasn't popping like that then. Or I would have had tons of pictures of folks and all kind of shit, but I didn't. And I actually got a chance to go to that, and that's something that I hold on to for the rest of my life. Not because I was enamored with them or anything. It's like it felt good to be around people that I would have aspired to be around and make art like they was making. But aside from the fact that when you finally get to a point where you making money in this business or in that business, whether it be music or film, you got to pull yourself together and humble yourself, because there are a lot of fucking people out there with a lot of weird ass fetishes and all that shit that's going to try to pull you in, whether it be drugs, sex, any kind of other weirdo shit you can think of. You got to be able to hold yourself accountable and realize you're not only trying to do your job and do your art, but you're trying to also have some semblance of decency and moral fiber in you. And it's hard to do when all that money and liquor and drugs is flowing around. And if your ass is one of them people that's weak-minded, they'll have you real quick. But I never ran into any of that shit fucking around. I won't say the studio that I was with, because that ended badly, and it was a business that ended up folding, and it was a real bad time, that shit. But I tried my best to do my part while I was at that place and I actually brought the Hughes brothers, the directors, Albert and Alan Hughes, to Positive Sound. Oh shit, I just told the name. Well, anyway, I'm gonna stop talking about that because I probably end up divulging some shit that don't need to even be talked about. God bless all them cats who was involved in that situation. I heard that turned out pretty fucked up for a lot of people. Some people actually lost their lives behind some. Yeah, it was a pretty deep situation. So God bless all of those people who was involved in there. All I was trying to do was do my thing and live my life. I actually got to meet Don Robinson from En Vogue because of that, and Adina Howard. The Brat came to the studio, and this is all obviously through people who ended up knowing about the studio. There's a lot of really talented people came in there from vocal. Dionne Warwick's son recorded a song there. Big old dude. I forget his name. But we actually talked and laughed and shit. I got to meet some real interesting people that was doing their thing over the course of the last 30, 40 years. And I was obviously younger then. I think I hadn't even, was I? Nah, I was just about to hit 30 or something back then. I'm 58 now, so it had to be over 28 years ago. So, it's a long fucking time ago. And it should tell you how long ago it was, because, like I said, cell phones and taking pictures with your phones and all that was not even a thing. Motherfuckers were still using Polaroid cameras and shit like that. I don't think there wasn't nothing digital out popping at that particular time. Motherfuckers were still using them big ass phones. Them big phones didn't have no cameras on them yet. You know what I'm saying? Them big flip phones and bag phones and all that shit. They didn't even have that shit on yet. And this is it had to be because I went to the military in like 87, got out in 90, lived in Georgia for 4 years till 1994, came back in 94. So it had to be between 94 and 97 when all this happened. So if you look back between those times, 93, before 2000, I don't think phones start taking pictures until after the 2000s. If you go back, any cell phone that you had wasn't doing all that. It wasn't taking pictures and doing all that shit. It just wasn't. You know what I'm saying? I don't think that didn't happen till the late 90s, early 2000s, if not after the 2000s. So, you know, if you wanted to do anything for posterity, you had to have a 35 millimeter camera with a flash, or you had to have one of them Polaroid Insta cameras, or some kind of little bullshit camera where you could take the film to the pharmacy and get the pictures, you know what I'm saying, developed. So I didn't have any of that. When I went to that, I didn't realize what was going to be going down and who was going to be there and how we was going to end, where we going to end up. I just talked my way into that shit off of the fact that I was with a superstar wide receiver at the time who had a 12 million at the time too. That's a lot of money. Bro had a $12.5 million contract. He had a 3-4 year contract with, I think he was with the Colts at that time, and he was rich. $12 million back in the 90s. God damn, if you had 12 million in the 90s, nigga, you basically had 50 million. You know, the taxes was low, the fucking everything. Motherfuckers was rich back in the 90s when that motherfucker Ronald Reagan. If you had money in the Ronald Reagan era, if you was rich, I don't care what color you was getting tax breaks like a motherfucker. Reaganomics, they called it. So it's a crazy time. And I only bring that up to say I've been around Diddy at least once in the element. I seen him, look dead at him. We was all chilling up there. Niggas had shit. I swear, folk, this was the craziest night. To come back to my existence after that, which was just working for that studio. And at the time, I was doing so bad because I was with my girlfriend at the time, and we broke up. I ended up having to stay in the goddamn studio. So I drove back to the studio that night, and that's where I was. So it was a wild fucking time trying to come up. Thought I was on my way, so to speak. Hey, it is what it is. You know, if you live long enough to still be here, you can reflect on all of the shit you've done in this world. And one thing I can say, looking back on my life, I tried my best to stay above board and not do people fucked up. I tried. I really did. Have I done people dirty? Yeah, of course I have. Some people I regret doing that to them, or, taking advantage of them. Some people you deserve. If I did it to you and I meant to, you probably deserve that shit. But even if you do that and it's supposedly meant or they did something to you, remember, no negative can counteract another negative. Karma's still coming to get you. It's still coming to get you. I want people to really, really lock in on that. Lock in on the fact that if you fuck somebody over, especially if you do it intentionally, that shit's gonna come back, man. So just be prepared in some type of way. It'll be an accident, something. It's gonna come back, and you're gonna think about, damn, that's probably karma for the bullshit I did. I'm telling you, because that's the way it should be. I believe. I think for every action there should be a same type of reaction. Whether if it's a negative action, it should be a reaction towards you negatively. It just makes sense that should be that way. So with that said, Diddy. Bro, they trying to ream you, man. Prepare yourself. Because all the money in the world can't save you from that jail cell or the general population. If you go to jail, they probably going to put you in PC because of who you are. Let's be real. They probably are. But that don't mean you can't get got at because you're in PC. I'm not wishing none of this on you, bro. But you know them dudes is in jail watching TV every day, and they find out you indicted. Some of them gonna be in your like, damn, that's Diddy. Da da da. I like Diddy. Blah. Some of them gonna be like, I can't wait till this nigga get up in here. I hope they send him here. Hell, rumors is that Tupac might have got toe up in there. Maybe not fucked, but they tried to beat his ass when he was in there. I heard Lil Wayne had some problems when he was in jail. I heard they tried to get at T.I. T.I. ain't no bitch though. T.I. went to jail with his head up and ready to squad. Whether you can't beat everybody in prison. What you can do is come in there with respect and let motherfucker know that you're not here for that bullshit. And if it's a one-on-one get down, you got to get down. Win, lose, or draw. But just like I said, if you do some fucked up shit, man, and you in the dark, it's gonna come to the light. That's how it's supposed to work. If you do bullshit in the dark, it's gonna come to fucking light. Facts. There's no way around it. You can't stop the rain. You can't. There's rumors that bro might have been involved, and you know what? They might be investigating him on the fact that he possibly did pay to have Tupac murdered. That's a hell. Keefe D, the guy they just put in jail behind that, he said that so much as that. He said Diddy gave us $1 million to kill Pop. That's what he said. Go look it up. So he might get murder charges too. Now the racketeering, that's where the charge for racketeering comes from. That's a cross-country contract killing from New York to LA. That's what they're investigating him about. Can you believe this? Bro really is in some deep shit. He's in deep shit. There's a chance that if he gets convicted, Sean Puffy Combs probably will never see the light of day again. If that ain't one of the saddest statements I've ever made about somebody who I don't truly dislike, but you know, you could just tell the arrogance. You see the arrogance on bro. There are rumors that Diddy used to cuss his mom out. Now, this is a dude. Now, I can see if you had problems with your mother, she did something to you, raised, you know, when you were being raised. A lot of people say there's no reason, I don't care what your mom or your dad did, that you should call them out their name or disrespect them. That might be true. That actually might be facts. But sometimes when you get raised and you know you've been dogged and you felt like you could have been raised differently, and the person that you throwing that at, your parent, don't acknowledge it, there's a chance you might be pissed off and treat them and disrespect them. Well, Diddy's mom was, you know, there the whole time. I don't know their relationship or anything like that, but when he became famous, he held her in high regards. He gave her credit for, you know, making him the man he is, so to speak. Well, why would you talk to her like that then? Gene Deal. I don't know if you know who Gene Deal. Gene Deal's all over the videos, going to different podcasts. He used to be the former bodyguard for Sean Puffy Combs, and he's spilling all the tea on that nigga. Talking about how he used to, from what Gene Deal said, Diddy's mom tried to proposition him sexually. This is Gene Deal. Now, I don't, you know, Diddy, if you see this video, nigga, hey, don't be mad at me. I'm just going off what motherfuckers are saying. And he turned her down, obviously. And he said that Puffy used to talk to her all kind of ways. It's a crazy world, man. And you wonder why negative shit happened to people who got money like that. Don't wonder. Just like I've said, if you do wrong, it's going to come back to bite you. I'm proof of that by having the ups and downs I've had through my life. One reason I'm sitting here right now, able to talk to you on live on my own YouTube channel, which has a little over 10,000 subscribers. Thank you, God, for that. And a lot of people that's higher than me on YouTube or whatever other platform is probably thinking you're a little 10,000 followers. You're not getting it. I don't give a damn. It ain't never been about that. Hopefully, the right ears and eyes get to see what I'm talking about and get to see the content on here, and they lock in. That's all through osmosis, meaning all through hard work, and also through, you know, the spear. Hopefully it goes out and somebody sees and goes, I like dude, he all right, OMD, old man Dex, I like him, blah, blah, blah. And they lock in. I was just talking to my girlfriend Sonia, who's on the live right now, about this, because all it takes, if your video or somebody takes, some marketing company takes your YouTube channel and tries to promote it and gets it out there to 2 million people, if only 3% of them people, which is like 300,000 people, liked it out of the 2 million, you winning. You winning. You ain't got to get the whole 2,000,000, but you got 300,000 people liked you. Out of all of 2,000,000, only 300,000 liked you. That means if 10 million people saw you, if 10 million people saw you, 3 million of them gonna like you. You know what I'm saying? That's all you need. You don't need everybody. You just need somebody to fuck with you to make a dent in this world. I know people are gonna watch my pod, and some people just ain't gonna. They just not fucking with it. They like, yeah, whatever. I don't like it or whatever. But there's somebody that's gonna see and say he's funny, he's entertaining, he's thought provoking. You know what I'm saying? He's saying what he feel. He's talking with his heart, because that's exactly what the fuck I do on here. Whether it be with fans, whether it be with fans, meaning people who would actually come on the show. Because if you come on anybody podcast, obviously you're trying to promote yourself, promote what you're trying to do, and all of that. And that's well and good. But they also have to have enough like or respect or appreciation of you to even make time to come on your podcast. Anybody that's selling the right to be on a podcast, whether they're paying the person to come on or the person paying them to come on because of how many people, because it goes both ways from what I understand. People like Vlad, he pays people to be on his show, but those people are deserving of the money. For him to go back and forth with Marlon Wayans is crazy, but that's a whole nother issue. But then there are some podcasts who have followers, and the people who they're having on the show aren't really known, and so they're paying the podcaster to be on to get known because how many followers the pod. So it works back and forth, just like any other situation. Everybody who's come on my show, they ain't have to pay me. I just recently started asking for donations just to keep, us going and doing what we're trying to do here, doing what I'm trying to do here. But most of the people who've been on my podcast have not only got a chance to be in front of my small audience, but also they leave here with some kind of a gift for the time, whether it be some alcohol or some weed product or something to that nature. I've always tried to show them much love, hospitality, make them comfortable, the whole 9 yards. Anybody who's been on my podcast can attest to that. I always show them love, and they always come here and be pleasantly surprised at what we're doing over here, at least what I'm doing. I say we all the time because there's some other people that back me. And shout out to Mr. Slim. Shout out to this dude, Chef Rob, who at one time was a contributor. He's a chef, a known chef. Hold up, I think somebody's pulling in. Who's a known chef who is a friend to the podcast. And we had kind of a falling out, should I say. And bro ended up, not. He actually said some stuff to me that I thought was really, really terrible about, who he thinks the show is, and all that. This is something, obviously, when you start get on bad terms with somebody, the funny thing is they'll say some things that they really was thinking the whole time, but they wasn't saying it to you. So I had to check his ass real good about that. Because bro is, bro's funny style. But there's a lot of cats in this world with funny style. Admittedly so. Some of them you're going to end up running across. Let me take a swig here, getting a little dry mouth. Pause. Can't beat that. Wonderful. Thank you, baby, for getting me this. Sonya. But to be honest with you, man, everybody should realize that it's inevitable for a cat like Diddy or anybody else. Like I mentioned, Drake, they're investigating Drake too. They're investigating all the black so-called moguls. A rumor is that they're investigating Jay Prince and his son Jazz Prince for racketeering as well. Now these are all rumors. Now you ain't heard about it, through you've probably heard about it through certain people, certain other podcasting, certain other vloggers and things like that. Hey, Southern Girl, shout out to Southern Girl. Thank you for being on here, love. It's good to see you. I appreciate you being here. That's another person who supports the podcast. we are very, very, very happy to have her on board. I wish Light Slim was on here from New York. She was one of the first people who locked into my pod and stayed, in there with your boy. And I sure appreciate her. Haven't seen her in a while. Could be some, hopefully there's nothing going on. I'm gonna pray for her and send her up in prayer. And hopefully she's doing well in New York. Shout out to New York. Shout out to everybody who's on the pod right now. We appreciate it. Do me a favor and pass this on. Send this podcast. Let people know about Corner Store Television and also the Corner Store Podcast. And be sure to like, subscribe if you haven't subscribed already. And also hit that notification bell so you'll know when I'm on live doing whatever content I'm doing at that time, whether it be listening to tracks, new artists, and so forth. It'll be greatly appreciated. And I appreciate every person, every 10,000, all the 10,000 people that have subscribed to this podcast. I appreciate you and I thank you. I'm so appreciative. I don't even know what to say, to you guys, and to show the appreciation that I have for you even giving me an opportunity to come into your phone or your TV, into your home or wherever you at, and you sit there and listen to me talk about what's going on. But the sad thing about this episode 121, is that Sean Puffy Combs has been indicted on racketeering and human trafficking charges. And probably inside of those racketeering charges is going to be a charge of the conspiracy to commit murder against Tupac Shakur. And that is absolutely insane. That the East-West Coast thing got to a point where a contract killing was conspired by not only people from the East Coast, but people from the West Coast, which is super, super sad. That's a mosquito. Oh, shit. Tried to kill that nigga. I am not trying to get sucked on. My blood sucked on. That's one thing about being. And you know what? Any studio, I've been in some really nice studios, and there was mosquitoes and everything flying around in them. I'm telling you. So them some bitches get in some kind of way. They gonna get in. I don't care if it's a build. It's shit. It could be I was in a hospital room, and it was a fly flying around. So I'm gonna tell you, man. Hey, these bugs, they ain't got no chill. They don't give two fucks about your situation or your surroundings. I'm gonna keep it 100. But back to the story at hand, like I said, Sean Diddy Combs has been indicted on racketeering and human trafficking. The human trafficking obviously must be involved with these women and all of these allegations of rape and all kind of stuff going on. But the racketeering charge obviously has something to do with the conspiracy to commit murder against Tupac Shakur and him paying the Crips from Compton to Orlando Anderson and his people or whatever, pulling the trigger and killing Tupac. So, like I said, even though Tupac died a long time ago, a little under or 20 years ago or something to that effect, like I said, karma's a bitch and there will be a reckoning. Always remember that. That should be one of the keys of this show, that whatever you do in the dark will come to the light. I promise you that. So keep your ass above board and keep the one almighty Yahweh in the forefront of your life, and Yahshua, his son, in your heart, because he died on the cross for your sins so you could be whatever you could be on this earth and live, even though everybody knows that the dark one is the one in control of this planet. You have the right to choose not to mess with him, you know what I'm saying, and choose a better path. This your boy OMB, Dex 300, Old Man Dex, aka Doc Savage, the man of bronze. Almost 50 minutes in on this podcast. And tomorrow I'm going to try to be on my regular day, and we're going to talk about some other subjects. And some of those subjects being, and I'll give you a little preview because I've written them down this time. Tomorrow's episode 122, we're going to be talking about the second, and I say second, fake Trump assassination attempt. Yes, I say it's fake. It's too fucking convenient, and it's fake. Also, Lil Wayne crying about not being chosen to be the Super Bowl halftime performer just because the Super Bowl is being held in New Orleans and he's pissed off that Kendrick Lamar has been chosen. And also, black truck driver in Henderson, North Carolina was found hung several feet from his truck that was parked on the side of the road inside of the woods in Henderson, North Carolina. They're trying to kill us. They've been hanging us. All the missing persons, black missing persons that are on milk cartons across the nation. There's a good chance that there's a contingent of racists out there that are finding us stranded on the freeway or whatever and killing us. So be careful out there. This your boy OMD. Hopefully I'll see you tomorrow on the live. Corner Store Podcast is on Corner Store Television. We doing what we doing. I appreciate y'all. Love y'all. I'll catch you next time.